Good morning, everybody, from Houston. It is almost 9 o'clock. We're getting a little bit of a late start today, and it is already hot and sticky, so we need to get on the road here. The original plan was actually to go to Florida today, but looking at the schedule is just a little bit too tight. We've had to do 1,000 miles in 2 days, which is totally doable, but if there's anything that would have happened, like if I get a flat or ran out of gas or couldn't make the requisite mileage, it would really put like basically the entire trip at jeopardy, and that just didn't seem sort of prudent. So instead we're gonna head back up north to Kansas City, which is about 900 miles away. We have 3 full days to do it, so much more casual. And then the rest of the schedule definitely has a little more like breathing room padded into it this way as well. So I think that's the smart choice. Florida will wait for a few weeks, and we should really get on the road. It is hot already. All right, we'll see you out there.
So if this looks familiar, it's because we are driving back along the exact same road we were driving along the day before, just on the other side. I honestly probably could have just reused the clips from the other day, and you never would have noticed, but rest assured, this is new footage. And just like it was the day before and throughout all of Texas, it was flat and it was straight and it was hot. So our goal for this day was just to make as many miles as we could. And we really just spent the whole day like this, trundling along, eating up miles, getting closer and closer to our ultimate destination, which was Kansas City. And so after about 504 miles, which was our second longest day to date, we ended up for the evening in Tulsa, Oklahoma, with about 250 miles to Kansas City. So all in all, it was pretty successful.
Good morning, everybody. It is almost 10 o'clock here in Tulsa. We are getting a late start this morning because there was a severe thunderstorm that rolled through. This morning they had forecast 1-inch hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds, so we were not going to ride through that, but I think there's a little bit of a break in the weather here, so we're going to try and get north as quick as possible.
Looking at the radar did not look good at all, but there was a really thin band between the thunderstorms I thought we might be able to sneak out through, so I rushed out to the bike and got on the road. And for a little while, our luck was holding out. The roads were wet, but the weather was okay, and I thought we just might make it through. As we kept going north, though, it got darker and darker, and pretty soon I was riding through some of the worst rain I have ever ridden through. That third lightning strike was a pretty good sign to turn into this gas station here and take a little bit of a break, see if we couldn't let that rain subside a little bit. And it turns out my new gloves bleed a little bit when they get wet.
Well, I did not miss all the rain, so we're stopped here, gonna fully gear up, hopefully just like half an hour of this and we'll be through it. Well, we have real no choice other than just to keep going, so yeah, time to go.
So I headed back north, not really knowing what would be in front of us, and while there's a little bit of rain still, it started to clear up and get a lot nicer. Eventually, I stopped, dried out as well as I could, and took the rain gear off. Amazingly, this is the last time I would wear the rain gear on the entire trip. I got so lucky with the weather this entire time, and I can't believe this was the only real rain I experienced when I was out there. But after a couple hours, we made our stop for the night. We were in Lawrence, Kansas, and man, my whole program was just such a mess after that day of rain. So we spread out to dry and settled in.
All right, good morning, everybody. We are in Lawrence, Kansas, which is about 30 or 40 miles west of Kansas City. And we're on a little bit of a side mission this morning. So we got into Lawrence last night, and we don't have to be down in Kansas City till this afternoon to check in the hotel before the game. So we're gonna go explore a little bit. This is the home of the University of Kansas, and was also the home of my dad for a little while, so I've been here a couple of times. And yeah, let's just go check some things out. First things first, of course, we're gonna get some breakfast. Saw on the way in at Dunkin' Donuts, so we're gonna go do that. You know, I love my dunks. And yeah, then we'll go kind of check the town out a little bit before we have to check out of the hotel in a couple hours.
Of course.
All right, well, we are 0 for 1. Their lobby is closed. Maybe one day I'll figure out how to get drive-through on the bike. I think with the DCT it would actually be possible. But I don't know if I want to try with a cup of hot coffee first. Yeah, I don't know what it is about Lawrence, but I really like it. Maybe it's just that there's like family history here, and I grew up rooting for Kansas basketball as a kid, but it's a fun little town. The little main street I'm staying in is great. There's a couple of breweries, some good restaurants. Where are we going? I must have missed a turn. I didn't bring the cord to plug in to the CarPlay, and I think I keep missing turns, so we're going the roundabout way here. Taking a little tour of suburban Lawrence. Father's Day gift procured. I'm gonna go to Allen Fieldhouse, home of Kansas basketball. We'll see if we can get in.
So after that little detour, we just kind of made our way down into Kansas City. It wasn't really that far. It was a pretty easy, not really that notable ride in. But we did make one very important stop along the way. And that was to get a new seat pad, because my butt was killing me. When I say this with all truth. If I didn't have this thing, I could not have finished the trip. It was literally a lifesaver. And here we are, we've made it to Kauffman Stadium. Kansas City has this big sports complex, and it has both the football stadium and Kauffman Stadium, the baseball stadium, right next to each other. It's pretty cool. But we had a little time to kill before the games, and there's no better thing to do in Kansas City than visit the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. It is, in my opinion, one of the most interesting and powerful experiences you can have around the game of baseball. They don't really like you to film much in there, so I didn't take much footage, but if you have the opportunity to go, I can't recommend it enough. It's a must-see. And along with the baseball museum, about a 10-minute walk away is another must-do in Kansas City, and that is to eat some barbecue. And I don't really want to get into the barbecue debates because honestly I don't really care that much, but Arthur Bryant's was a place I went as a kid last time I was in Kansas City, and so I went back. It was just a delicious, fun experience. As my dad once said, I think they've wiped the tables down once since we've been there, but otherwise everything else was exactly the same. So after a delicious lunch of too much meat and too many French fries, it was game time. Kauffman Stadium opened in 1973 and it was known as Royal Stadium. And fun fact, this is the first Major League Baseball stadium that I ever went to. And I was also lucky enough to be joined by my uncle and my cousin for this game as well, which made it extra special to be back. Since I was here in the 90s, they've laid down real grass instead of turf, and the stadium is absolutely beautiful. They've got these fountains in the outfield, there's a really good crowd, and just so much fun and history to see at the stadium. It's one of the older stadiums that's been well updated, and I think it wears its age well. Another fun surprise was that it was Pride Night at the stadium. They had a bunch of events, these fun little champagne cocktails that had rock candy in them. There were tons of people rocking Kansas City Pride gear. And I love events like this because I think it opens up the game to an entirely new group of people who you might not think would be baseball fans. And that just rounded out a great night of baseball at Kauffman Stadium. So if you like this video, hit like, hit follow if you want to see more, and we will see you next time.